Hello everybody and welcome to another Transformers third-party review. In today's video I'm taking a look at the first full figure on offer from DNA Designs. DNA are the guys that are responsible for the Devastator upgrade kit, as well as the Fortress Maximus, Titan's Return upgrade kit, and the Metroplex upgradable hands. These guys have stepped up again and this time delivered us a very awesome rendition of Bludgeon in the form of Susanoo. Straight off the bat, the box screams Japanese art and is delicious. What a fantastic start to a product. On the back of the box, we've got Susanoo in his robot mode, you've got him in his tank mode, and you've also got the list of the accessories included, which include the samurai sword, 2 knives, a cannon, and an extra face. But this face is only included with the first production run. Bludgeon comes packaged in a plastic clamshell, and as a nice little added extra, we're giving this watercolour-esque backdrop included with each purchase, which acts as a very nice backdrop for your display. And here he is outside of his plastic prison, and he really does look the part. Now, G1 Bludgeon was a pretender, so we pretty much had a samurai-looking pretender shell with a small robot inside. So to try and bring that to the modern day Transformer kind of masterpiece-esque collections, they had to do something. Now, the transformation of this guy is pretty much identical to the Generation Bludgeon mold. I think they used it for Megatron, Bludgeon, and somebody else. There's about 2 or 3 variations of it, if not more. I actually done a review of the Made in Japan upgrade kit that they did for it as well, which was like a shell piece of armor, which was really nice for the day, but things have come a long way since then. So they've used a very similar transformation, but they've brought it forward to 2017 and given it their little twist, and it is incredible. It is truly a stunning piece. Now, accessory-wise, we have the cannon off the tank, which doubles up as his sword. Very nice sword there. Now we can attach the sword to the side of Bludgeon by flicking up this tab here, and then just slide that section on. We get the Teppo, which is his big gun. We can just flip down the handle like so, and by using the peg here, that can slide in to the base of his hand and then bring the fingers wrapped around. We get the 2 knives. Now the knives are pretty sharp, so you have to be careful with those. And these can be stored by pressing this section here, which flips this down, and we can store the knives just in the back here, like so. Now I love that spring-loaded mechanism there. We get 2 of these very small aerials, which attach either side at the back here. They just peg in, and they come unattached in the packaging, I'm assuming just so they don't get damaged in transit. And then last but by no means least, we get this special faceplate, which is only available with the first production run. That's a fantastic look to him. Now, I'm not sure what it is about this figure, but something really does tick a lot of boxes for me. He has that kind of playability. I love just putting him in some really kind of aggressive martial arts inspired poses. He's got so much articulation there, and you think with all of that samurai-esque armor on him, you'd think he would be kind of G1 articulation style, but he isn't. He's jam-packed full, and the attention to detail and levels of detailing that they've included with Bludgeon is fantastic. Taking a nice close look at that face sculpt. Really, really good looking head. You've got a nice samurai helmet theme going on here, and look at the articulation there as well. We've got a nice left and right, we've got some up and downwards motion there, and we get some quizzical tilting. I love a tilt on a head. Now these things here are pretty thin. I can't see them breaking, but if you took an aggressive shelf dive, so to speak, I can't imagine those surviving. I will just change this head sculpt out at this time. Now just pull up from the bottom and then wiggle that free. I mean, I don't know if you can see that, but there's even small red dots there on the eyes. Truly terrifying. And let's just bring in the alternative sculpt. And again, just line that up and just push that on. Oh, God, that looks so good. Oh. I'm not a fanboy. The shoulders can go all the way around. They are on friction joints, and the armour does get in the way a little bit there, but not a great deal, just enough. There's a fantastic shoulder ratchet there. We've got two individual joints. We've got one on the inside here, and this one works on a separate hinge. Once you get the arm up to a certain height, it then lifts up from the chest section. We get an upper bicep rotation. We get a lower bicep rotation. We get a bend at the elbow. Would have liked a ratchet joint there, but it is a very tight joint nonetheless. We get a lower bicep kind of rotation flex thing going on there. We get rotation at the wrist. We get articulation on these fingers. They are ball mounted, so they all can spread, and then two additional joints per finger. And as you can see, he does hold the gun nicely. We have the option to have the armor down or the armor up on his arms. I personally prefer to have it hinged backwards on itself, so it's kind of staggered like so. These treads, they're all individually articulated, and you can bend those out of the way as you see fit. Coming down to the waist. Now, there is some rotation in the waist there, but the back section does get in the way. We can go backwards and we go forwards just a little bit, but this backpack section is a real hindrance. So it's just as well we can actually take that off if needed. We can then see that the waist does in fact rotate, but it's one of the weakest points of articulation for this guy, just because you shouldn't have to remove sections to get him to move as he should. So let's just place this section back on, and let's go with the waist doesn't really move that well. Coming down to the legs, we have these skirts at the side here, which are mounted on hinges, so they can move upwards and downwards depending on where you need them to go. Again, we have these nice track sections which can move quite freely. We have lovely ratchet joints in there. Go all the way forwards. Backwards, we do get hindrance due to the backpack section. Again, coming out to the side, all the way up, we have an upper thigh rotation. We have some really nice detailing on the thighs there with some cogs going on, and we get the wheel detailing on the outside of the leg. Now we also get a knee rotation. You don't very often see a rotation on the knee and on the thigh. Now it's really nice because you can get this nice decor going forwards on those legs, and you can also bend the knees. We get a double jointed knee, although it's not the nicest looking double joint. It's very mechanical, but we are left with a hollow section here. But we do get a nice bit of range going on there. The outside wheels can be tilted forwards or backwards. Coming down to the feet, they are die-cast. We've got some nice detailing again. This section here, on mine, it is a pre-production sample, and this is a little bit loose. The pin should be getting tightened for the final release. It's the metal heel spur. I like to have mine just angled slightly. I just think it tends to get a better center of gravity. We do have rotation here. We get some nice pivoting going on that foot. And we do have an individual articulation on the toe there. The toe can go up and down there. So you get a nice, deep, solid range. It is only a friction joint. There's no ratchets in there, but it's a very stiff joint, and it feels very sturdy. I mean, come on. You've got to admit, that's pretty impressive. No tricks, no magic, just a good old-fashioned, solid, tight-jointed, well-balanced samurai. What a cracking job. He's one of those figures that if you enjoy posing your figure and if you've got some patience, you can get him to do pretty much anything. I mean, I've been toying around with having these sections folded up and folding them down. I mean, with so many hinges and such tight joints, you could get him in kind of a running pose and have these kind of bristling and flapping in the wind. And as for where does he fit in your collection, I personally feel that he is a masterpiece figure. It's good engineering and the level of detailing is truly sublime. Obviously I have Megatron here from the G1 continuity. I'm really looking forward to having this guy squared up against the likes of Power Master Prime when Fans Hobby do them, and Fans Hobby are also doing Overlord as well, so it'd be nice to have him alongside them as well. Maybe the Mastermind Creations version of Drift would look good squared up against Bludgeon. There's all different variations, but I think I'm going to have mine with those Master Force characters where he truly belongs. Now, something I would like to just pick up on before I get him transformed up into vehicle mode is how the sword attaches. You undo these fingers here. I love how natural the grip can be as well, and move the thumb out of the way. You have this small section which folds out on the sword, and it basically nips either side of the joint, and it is probably one of the tightest secured weapons I've ever seen on a Transformer figure. It really does fit in there remarkably well. Let's just bring that back up. Now, for the purpose of the transformation, we're going to remove these sections here, and I'm just going to take this backpack section off for now. Oh my goodness, part solving worst toy ever. Right, first thing to do with the transformation, we want to just push down on the head, push it into the chest, and just tilt it backwards like so. And you want to open these sections up to the front like this, and you want to flip them over on either side. Now we want to rotate these shoulders up, but not using this joint here. You want to use the smaller joint on the inside of the arm. You want to rotate it so it's round to the bottom, and then move this section in like so. So we're looking at something like that on the back. Come to the shoulder joint, you want to rotate it so it's facing upwards. Push that in, and then we're going to bend this hinge here away. So we bring both of these fists in with the fingers compressed over the hand like so. Unfold these tabs, unfold them at both hinges, and bring them down like so, covering the hand. And again with this side, bring it down, covering the hand. And this hinge actually comes round and extends like so, and then bends back on itself here. And then what you want to do, you want to bring this joint up, and then this section here is going to tab nicely in there. Bring these sections up and over the top on both sides, tabbing them nicely in together, and then bringing this section up and tabbing this in to square both of those sections off. And they also tab together here at the front. Bring these tank tread sections down, lift this front crotch section up and over, and you want to bring these sections out to the side just so we can see what we're doing. The thigh sections can shift across, and again on this side. Now you'll know if you've pushed the thighs over enough, because the align section here is pretty much spot on with these thigh sections. Push this leg section up, and if you have the knee pad section up, you need to bring that down like so. These leg sections here are on a rocker joint. Bring this section all the way up so we can see it, and come around to the toes. You want to compress the toe section inwards and come to this side and just give this section a push like this, and then this toe is going to rock up and over and sit inside like so, and then rotate this section around on the base. Collapse these sections back down again and bring this section over the end. Rotate this outer wheel section around, and then fold the legs inwards, like so. Come to the thigh sections and flip those wheels out and around. And then you want to extend this track section, and this is going to just tab together on each point like so. Nipping these sections here, you can just grab the torso and give that a tug. So this section here opens up. Bring down this metal clasp section here, and you can then flip these legs out on either side. Lift these sections up on this hinge and they come all the way up and over, and as this hinge collapses, you need to make sure that this section here is all the way to this end, and then the hinge will collapse in on itself, and there's a tab here and a tab there. That's going to peg in like so, securing that into place, and then these sections here are just going to secure and tab in together like that, and bring this section up and over, and that's going to come down. And the trick is to get this section to peg in on there, and then also tab in at the front like so. And when it is, run run away and hope it stays in place. Now this section at the back here has come untabbed. Of course it has. I think this figure dislikes me. It really does. Right, do that on both sides. We have this additional fold-out back section here, which can come up, and then these small nubbins are going to push down and tab in to the back section like so. Come to the underside, bring these sections over and make sure that it's tabbed correctly into place. Right, detach these sections, flip this one up like so, and flip this handle. This is going to go on to the top of the tank turret like so, and that's just going to peg in like this. These two sections here are going to separate, and each one becomes an angled missile launcher which goes on either side. And of course, now that they're hinged in, you can move them to any set angle that you see fit. I personally like mine to go at this sort of angle, and then we can bring the sword and the sheath that can come in, and that can sit in like so, and we've got this tab on the base there. That's just going to tab in like this. And there we have Susanoo in his tank mode. Now that was not the easiest transformations. The actual transformation itself isn't overly complex, but it's getting everything tabbed in together. You have to make sure everything's at the exact right angle to make it all work and really look the part. And then it's just a matter of tweaking things to your liking. Like these sections here, I'll bring those down to cover up those back panels. It's nice. It's a very nice version of the tank. Is this section here meant to come up? I think that's another aerial section, isn't it? That's meant to just lift. Now, articulation wise, the turret can rotate. There is a ratchet joint in there. We do get some slight clearance issues with these padded sections here. The turret can slide inwards and outwards. We don't have any upwards and downwards motion on there though. I would like the ability to move that up and down, but beggars cannot be choosers. I love this gun on top as well. You've got these nice detail sections here. You've got some fabulous detail. Really nice use of silver paint on there. Big chunky treads and wheels. Very nice gearing going on there. Now, it would be nice if these actually turned. They actually tab into this wheel here. You can untab them, but I like to keep it in place. I think it looks kind of more natural, being all scrunched up like that, so it's going over a rough terrain. What do you guys think? The front section here, this is where I have the most trouble. It does seem to kind of arch inwards a bit more. I'm not sure if it's meant to. We do have we do have him just hiding underneath there, but it is a fairly well hidden bot mode, I think. And the tank mode itself, it's very reminiscent of a tank. You know, there's no doubt there that's exactly what it is, and you know, it's a vast step up from the original kind of Generations version of this figure. Now for a quick scale comparison alongside various different generations, we've got Dinobot over there, we've got Stomp, we have got Chrome Dome from the Headmasters, of course we've got good old reliable Smokescreen from Generation 1, as well as Soundwave. You know, with the regular vehicles, tank and a car there, I think that's a pretty good matchup. But when we start bringing in the likes of the Headmasters are very large Cybertronian vehicles, and it doesn't really match up in my opinion. But I still stand by him being displayed in his robot mode with the Master Force style figures. But if you do like the tank mode, I don't think it's worth getting just to display in tank mode, to tell you the truth. But if you're getting him to display in that robot mode, then by all means I can't recommend him enough, because that robot mode, the posability and the overall feel and aesthetic of him is sublime. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen, DNA Design's first robot offering, their DS-01 Susanoo, their take on a masterpiece style bludgeon. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. I thoroughly enjoyed the figure. Yes, it is tabtastic and was a bit of a mission tabbing everything together, but once it's all tabbed together, it is definitely worth it. And that bot mode, oh, it is incredible. Thank you all again for watching. If you'd like to see other products by DNA, check out the link on the side of the page here to the DNA playlist, and also at the bottom here I've included a link to the old Bludgeon Made in Japan armor set. Until next time, from myself and Susanoo, good